I'm Megan and I'm an art director. I work in an advertising agency just down the road at Marketforce. I've been working there for about 3.5 years. I basically work with a writer and we come up with ideas for a brief, and then my writer will write the ads and I'll figure out how they need to look. I'm typically the person that will draw a layout, but then I'll hire people to do the work for me in a way. So I'm basically the director of the art. Something like towards the beginning of the year for the Rottnest Channel Swim, we wanted to actually broadcast messages of support under the water to the swimmers. And we managed to sell I think it was 6 different clients to buy spots on the radio station that broadcast underwater. And that was a huge project because we basically had to do everything ourselves. So most of it was overseeing it in terms of how we filmed the case study and put it together for award shows and to show how it actually worked on the day. But we had to do everything from making the boys stand up to going out there to Rottnest and staying overnight. So it was quite a big thing. Yeah, well, I went to Curtin and I did the Bachelor of Arts in Design. I originally actually wanted to be a photographer, but then I found that I was just more interested in the ideas than in how the lighting setup was going to work. So I ended up getting into advertising through that. And once I'd finished there, I did award school, which is basically just like a 10-week course, and only about 10 people get in every year out of hundreds that apply. And while I was doing that, I just started going around to different agencies and just asking for opinions on my work, just going, what do you think? Is this shit? I don't know. And I went to Marketforce 2 or 3 times, and I think the 3rd time I went, I got a call afterwards and my boss now is just like, hey, do you want a job? And I was like, yes, please. So I got a job before I graduated award school. Yeah, well, I think if you do want to work in advertising, you really do need to do award school. You don't necessarily have to go and do a degree in advertising, but it does help. Yeah, I think one thing is doing the qualifications that you need to do, but also probably just collaborating with other people, drawing on as many inspirations as you can. And so I really make a big effort to kind of go out and do different things, and I play laser tag on Wednesdays, which is probably a weird example, but I think just surrounding yourself by different people and being inspired in different ways. I think collaboration is a really good thing. In Perth, we're obviously very isolated, but there's so many talented, interesting people here. And I think the worst thing you can do sometimes is lock yourself away in a room and just, draw by yourself. That's great if that's what you want to do. But I think if you're inspired by other people and motivated by working with others, it's good to kind of reach out and go, who can I talk to? What projects can I volunteer my time for? To kind of learn more about what you like and what you don't like, and work with other people to, I guess, learn and be inspired and have ideas. I think a lot of people think that being a creative is easy and you get to just put your feet up all day and look out the window thinking of ideas. And some of the time you get to do that, but a lot of the time it's really quite challenging. There is a lot of work. The one thing with advertising is there's very tight deadlines. There's never any time and there's often no money. So you have to really work within the confines of what you're given. And it is tricky because in terms of having an idea, it's how long's a piece of string? I could think of an idea in 5 minutes, or I could think of it in 3 years. So being given a timeline of, a couple of days to have a great idea it's very tough. It can be quite daunting too. And you can be told, to keep going when you're kind of at the end of your rope. You're just what? There's no more ideas out there. How can I keep going? The only thing that works for me then is actually just getting out of the office and just leaving and walking or going somewhere else and just changing my environment. A lot of people have come to, visit my writer and I and ask us about how do we get a job in this industry, and they're just thinking, I'm not enjoying my job at the moment. I want to do something different. Being a creative seems quite fun. But then when we talk to them and say, you know, like, you should really do this course or read these books and, you know, come up with ideas to these hypothetical briefs and we can review them for you and, you know, help you get better, we never hear from them again, because it's like they don't actually want to, you know, try and push yourself and keep going. So you really have to have that desire in you, I suppose, to just like keep going and work hard. Well, the part I really enjoy is just like coming up with ideas, I suppose. I think it's almost this really magical thing where you're like, thank you, brain. Like, you know, it seems to come out of nowhere, and that's the bit that I really enjoy, because it's like you can sit there banging your head against a wall for hours or days or weeks or however long it takes, but then eventually something will click and you'll be like, yes, that's it. And that's the really exciting part for me. And I think like taking that idea and really bringing it to life and, you know, I guess making it the best it can be is really exciting as well. You know, I've always been really interested in just solving big problems. Like, that's what I really like to do. I think, you know, hopefully one day I'll be working somewhere in the world where I'm actually like solving big giant problems, like, you know, how do you solve poverty? And then I'll sit there and try and solve like worldly problems. Like, that would be amazing. But yeah, I think like for me, when I started working where I am, I really thought that I would only be there for like a year or two. I really wanted to go overseas or go over east. But I found that, like, I think where I'm working, I'm really lucky because I have a really good team of people around me that really want me to do well, and they know that I want to leave eventually, so they're kind of helping me build my portfolio and my book so that I have really good work when I leave to go to a good agency. If you are starting, like, regardless of what industry it is, it's like really valuable if you find people around you that are willing to help you and kind of be a bit of a mentor, because, you know, they usually have the best advice in terms of what you should be doing with your career, or, you know, when's the right time to leave a particular place.